It is showing that we are live, Mr. Matanje.
Thank you.
Yeah. So once again, welcome to Bonano TV. This Tuesday's segment on Bonano TV with Dr. Mtale is called Trending News in Zambia. On this program, we look at news that is trending in Zambia. We analyze and critique issues as we see them. My co-presenter this evening is Mr. Elias Matanje, living in Nairobi. He is a social analyst and a lecturer at Marist International and Tangaza College. Welcome, Mr. Matanje.
It's my pleasure to be on the program, Dr. Mtale.
How is Nairobi today?
Nairobi today is fine, a bit chilly.
And
very dusty because we have basically we are back into the hot season.
Good.
So we have also for a long time now we don't have much rain, so the place is quite dusty. Otherwise, we are okay.
Excellent. Thank you for giving us the weather of Nairobi, as the name suggests.
Down South Africa.
No, South Africa and in particular Cape Town is fine. A little bit hot today, but cool in the night. We are fine. It's not too hot, and it's also not too cold. Just to say welcome to our viewers to Bonano TV. Today we are speaking about the state of roads in Zambia. So as we discuss this topic between myself and Mr. Matanje, who is the social analyst from Nairobi, you can like our Facebook page, which is Bonano TV, and also we have a YouTube page. You can also like that page. So our topic today is the state of roads in Zambia. Roads in Zambia are quite bad at the moment, and nearly everywhere you go, people are complaining of the state of roads in Zambia. They are in a stress. They are in a bad state. Perhaps that's where we should begin, Mr. Matanje. Why do you think our roads in a bad state in Zambia?
Thank you so much, Dr. Mtale, for that introduction. Sure, it's something nice to just look at the state of our roads in Zambia. Of course, being in Nairobi does not mean I don't have any touch with home and what's going on. So I do travel, I do visit home. Just recently, I was home in April this year. So it is thing that actually I'm quite familiar, and also just following on social media, following on news. Yeah, of course, it's something we can talk about. It's undoubtedly the state of our roads are in a deplorable state. The roads, sure, something just have to be done about it. So that's what I can say.
Yeah. So again, just following up on what you have said, Dr. Matanje, Mr. Matanje, sometimes I'll call you Dr. Matanje because you are a professor. You are a professor, so and you have taught for many years now.
Oh yeah, sure.
So would we then say that lack of maintenance is one of the reasons why our roads are in a bad state?
There could be many factors to that effect. Yeah? So maintenance for sure. Okay, Dr. Mtale, it's a factor. So if roads are poorly maintained, they'll get to a state they are. Okay, otherwise we'll have nothing to talk about. Yeah, so maintenance is definitely one of the serious factors that put our roads in a deplorable state. Simply if their government fails to repair them, okay, they'll be in the state they are. Now, apart from that, I can just add on to saying the roads are in that state which is actually wanting and causing a lot of accidents at the moment. Yeah. One of the things that recently, has been trending at home because of the state of our roads is the death of people and one of the popular comedian, Mr.
Yeah.
Sinkala. So that was quite unfortunate, something to happen of something that could be avoided. So the roads, sure, maintenance is a factor when it comes to the state there. So if they are poorly maintained, they'll create potholes.
Mm, mm,
Okay.
mm.
So you can also talk of, let's say, lack of alternatives in terms
Yeah.
of road networks in Zambia. Yeah, so that also could be a contributing factor apart from maintaining in terms of repairing them. Yeah, so alternatives, like providing different alternatives for haulage, okay, or movement of goods. Now that creates distress on the roads, okay, because the pressure is just too much on them. Now, what do I mean in terms of alternatives? Now, if we had more options, yeah, instead of using the same roads in and out of places, in and out
Yeah.
of the country, could be of the country of Zambia to neighboring countries, the same roads, no alternatives where road users can also, divert to. So that puts a lot of pressure on the limited infrastructure.
Yes, you are very right, Mr. Matanje, that in Zambia we don't have many alternative roads. For instance, when you want to get to Ndola from Lusaka, it's a must that you have to pass through. You have to drive from Lusaka, pass through Kabwe, pass through Mpika, and then go to Lusaka. They can almost people can almost trace where you are going to pass as you go
Sure.
to the copper belt. So obviously few roads puts causes roads to quickly dilapidate or um, go into a bad state. So you've mentioned lack of maintenance, and you've mentioned also lack of alternatives. What about the poor workmanship? Are our roads really built to a good standard? Are they of international quality?
Sure. That's something worthy to note. Okay. Now, what just came to my mind immediately, I went into colonial days as much as I was not there, but just years after, let's say, colonization, yeah, the roads that were put by those regimes, okay,
Yes.
or governments before independence, okay, now they really lasted so long. Now, of course, they can't stay forever. Yeah. Now, I just want to make a point regarding to the workmanship and probably what could be
Mm.
the state of our roads today. So, sure, there is poor workmanship. because the roads are repaired in a few years. Again, we are back to the original state, okay, of potholes, yeah, roads being very bad state. So poor workmanship is definitely a serious thing, yeah, which of course we need serious, people. Once we repair them or develop new roads, we need to do quality work. So
Yeah,
just making that point of the roads that
mm,
were there, let's say before and after independence, which I found some roads, they stayed for many years. But of
yeah,
course, as I've said, they can't stay forever. Yeah, they'll still worn out at some point. Now, what is basically happening at the moment? So it's poor workmanship. The roads are poorly done. Now, I will also add maybe the thing to do again, maybe to poor could be planning when it comes to construction of the roads. So they don't have proper drainage systems. Okay, because what also becomes a factor, it is
yeah,
soaked the ground and there is weight on top of it, cars, lorries, name them. So if there's poor drainage and water doesn't flow on the sides, it kind of stays on top of the road. So that just compromises the, the standards of the roads.
yeah. You are quite right there, Mr. Matanje. Uh, Obviously, poor workmanship does contribute, and also the fact that when the drainage is not well constructed, obviously the water will sit on the roads, and there will be obviously bad drainage, and there will be definitely roads getting damaged all the time. Now, tell me, Mr. Matanje, what are what can we do, especially about the heavy trucks? Because I think the heavy trucks that are using the roads are
Mm,
also part of what is causing our roads to dilapidate quickly. Do you
the heavy
think
trucks, huh?
overloaded trucks
Mm,
using the roads are also causing our roads to fall into this bad state?
yeah, if the tonnage, let's say the capacity the trucks are carrying, it basically of the right amount. Now, that shouldn't be a problem, basically from my end. Yeah, goods of whatever nature need to move from one point to the other.
Yes,
Yeah, definitely. We need commodities, okay? And it's also
yes,
just part of how, people are fed. So food is transported from different ends of the
mm,
country. So now, if the loads that are put on those trucks, it's over, okay, to the required, let's say, weight, yeah, and they
yes,
kind of compromise uh, the standards what it should be on the roads. Now that is again the work now, let's say, of the guys in charge of the way bridges. So
yes,
if it's
yes,
people who compromise standards, who compromise their professionalism, okay, now that is the problem now the government can look into, okay, and just to hold the guys to account, they do what is right. Otherwise, we'll need trucks. Trucks have to carry goods, okay. It's part of also how it helps in moving economies, okay.
yes,
Materials have to be distributed. So if there's an element of negligence somehow, somewhere, yeah, in terms of allowing turns that are not supposed to be, yeah, it's a question of, let's say, now the government reining in and holding some of the fellows capable, okay, of allowing what shouldn't be allowed to account.
Yes, yes. No, you are very right, Mr. Matanje. I think all trucks that get on our Zambian roads must be checked properly that they are the right weight before they go on our roads, because most of these trucks are coming from neighboring countries such as Zimbabwe, Tanzania, even Congo, DRC. So
South
if we don't
Africa.
check them properly, we are going to find that when these trucks are overloaded, they are going to be destroying our roads. Oh, thank you so much. I think we have discussed that first segment, which is talking about why our roads are in a bad state. And I think one of the points that I heard you speak there clearly is lack of maintenance. I think we have a tendency that when we build roads, we forget about maintenance. I think the maintenance of the roads, as soon as a road has been made, there must be a plan for the maintenance of that road. It's just like a car. When you buy a new car, you need to be maintaining the car, looking after it so that it does not quickly dilapidate. Perhaps
Indeed.
now I'll go to our next segment of discussion, which is what are the consequences of poor roads? What are the
Okay.
implication of poor roads? I know that we have discussed that we don't have many alternatives of roads of getting from Lusaka to the Copper Belt or Copper Belt to Northern Province and other areas. We are using the same roads that we are saying that are bad. So, what are the consequences of these poor roads in Zambia?
Okay. Thank you so much. Okay. So, two things are coming to my mind. So, one, which is quite critical, is the economic factor.
Yes,
Okay. And its development. So, as I've said, trucks, what they carry, if the intention is good, it's for the development of the country, moving goods here and there, okay, transporting commodities here and there. It could be farm products, it could be products, let's say, from the mining sector, okay, it could be moving human resource from point A to point B. So, on the economic level, that slows down the economy, okay, whichever way it might, or someone might want to look at it, yeah. So the faster delivery of goods to the market, it's good for business people, okay, so that they can deliver whatever has to, because that's the most way things move around in our country. Okay, apart from, if we had also the opportunity and resources, let's say, to use flights, okay, that's something also that can be considered. But we rely on the road heavily to transport most of our stuff. So the consequence of bad roads, on the economic part and delivery of goods, which of course goods are for business people, yeah. So there will be that slowness, yeah, not just goods itself, even on the social level. Now, integration, okay, of people within, let's say, could be neighboring countries, the interaction between, could be Zambians and Tanzanians, Zambians na Congolese, Zambians na Botswana ku Botswana. So that interaction, original integration, again gets affected because of the poor state of roads. Now it even discourages motorists, let's say, from moving to different destinations. Now, I think at some point we mentioned something like, how do we maintain, or how can you maintain? Could be your car, the road itself. So on a poor road, for sure, the wear and tear of part of the cars again becomes a burden on the
Yes.
motorist.
Mm,
Yeah.
mm, mm, mm. Yeah, obviously that is true. You have mentioned that those are social implications that if the roads are very poor, then people don't want to move because they know that the roads are bad. They're not gonna get to the place where they are going in good time. But we also see that because the roads are so poor, um, they are so bad, the cost of doing business becomes very high. The owners of trucks, for instance, they are losing tires, they are losing the wear and tear of their vehicles is so high, such that they are constantly repairing their vehicles. I tell you, Bamatanje, when I was going to Kasama on that road, especially after Serenje, you
That is
find
the
that,
Nakonde Road.
yeah, yeah, that's Nakonde Road, but it also goes to Kasama.
Okay.
That road, especially from Serenje, it has become very impassable, such that you see as you go on that road, you move, first of all, you move very slowly. Secondly, it has become very impassable because the potholes are so huge. So the truck owners, the drivers, they experience a lot of breakdowns, and the trucks, most of the trucks, they are just parked along the road. So you ask yourself, why are those trucks parked along
Mm,
the roads? It's
mm.
because they have, some have lost tires, some have lost spare parts, so they either have to send someone to Lusaka or back to Dar es Salaam or even to Kinshasa to get those spare parts to come and fix them and then start the journey, all because of the poor roads. In the rain season, it becomes
Even worse. Mm,
even worse
mm.
because all these potholes now, they look like they are swimming pools.
Unfortunately.
In fact, not swimming pools. Maybe a swimming pool is better. So because of the poor state of roads, those people who are carrying these goods, they are passing that cost to the poor people, to the poor people. So if sugar was supposed to cost 10 kwacha,
Mm.
but because of the loss on the roads, they make sure that they regain that money by
Yeah, it has to
making
be
sure that,
recovered. It has to be
yeah,
recovered in
sugar
one or the
costs,
other. Sure.
sugar costs 20 kwacha. So obviously, bad roads, they are costing all of us.
Yeah.
Yeah, they are
Yeah, because
costing all
the
of us.
more you stay on the road, wasting a lot of time, sure, that one has to be thrown on the consumers. Okay, in a way, those people will need to recover their expenses. So mentioning about the Nakonde Road, I think I had a similar experience. So
Yeah,
in terms of fueling the car, because I was just on it from Mazabuka, let's say, to Nakonde, crossing beyond. So you have to spend a lot of hours on a short distance because of the state of the road. So Yeah, I totally agree with you. So it increases the cost, okay, of living around because of the time that you waste, yeah, or moving on a short
Yeah.
distance. Yeah.
Yeah, and goods become expensive because the roads are bad. But you see also one phenomenon that is being experienced by most truck drivers is that because the trucks are so slow
Mm.
and the cars are so slow, sometimes are slower than people who are walking. Lwesanga ati imyotoka baleshipita ffe ku bantu abalenda. The people who are walking, they are faster
Just
than
imagine.
the cars
Just
and
imagine.
the trucks. And the thieves are taking advantage
Yeah.
of that situation. They are climbing onto the trucks and to begin stealing the merchandise on the trucks. So it is becoming more expensive for the people who are transporting the goods because thieves are taking advantage of slow moving trucks. But also, it is a threat to the people, the drivers themselves. Their life is at risk because sometimes these thieves of the thieves of the goods on the slow moving trucks, sometimes they are attacking the drivers when they try to intervene. So especially on that road, buli omusebo wakukaasa amawulira.
Now,
They,
welcome Western part.
they are taking
Mm.
advantage. Balekwela pamatracks pamulu nokulaiba obunga, shuga, masaladi na fimbi. So it is becoming a big problem
Yeah,
that
it's a sad state of affair. I mean, it's really putting their lives in danger. Okay,
yes, yes.
so yeah, it's
But
quite a
also
sad
the
state of
fact
affairs.
now these truck drivers and the owners of these trucks, what they are doing now, apart from insuring the trucks themselves, they also have to insure the goods that are in transit because the the goods can be stolen. If they are not stolen, a truck might be involved in an accident and they will lose all the merchandise that they are carrying. So that insurance aspect of the goods, let alone the insurance of the truck, but the insurance of the goods from let's say Lusaka to Kasama or Nakonde or Mpulungu or Kasumbalesa,
Mm, mm.
that is really making um, making the those products that are in transit even more expensive.
Very,
So
very.
we really must make sure that we really must make sure that the insurance aspect is well explained here. What did you think, Mr. Matanji?
So the insurance, that's about the cover of transit
Yes,
goods.
it's the cover of the goods.
Yeah, it's something worth, I mean, basically to consider. It's good in case of any happening that was not expected, like somebody losing merchandise, as you put it there, because of they can't move fast, and guys are taking advantage of that. Those who like to take free things that they never sweated for. Yeah,
Yes,
so it's just in order that the insurance, steps in, so that it can put back owners to the original state, okay, of affairs, where they were before an unfortunate, let's say, event happening to the trucks whilst on transiting. Yeah, I think it's
yeah.
just in order.
Yeah, yes. So, yeah, that is one of the implications that the owners of the trucks have to, unfortunately, also insure the trucks, so that if anything happens to their goods,
Mm,
that they can be refunded, or rather, they can be covered.
mm,
So also what I see that the potholes also the potholes themselves, they are not only a danger to the vehicles that are using the roads, but they are also a danger to the people who are walking vamatanje tamwaipuntulapo pamusevonyi.
because of our potholes, huh?
Yeah, because of our potholes. The swimming
That should
pools.
be a serious injury in all that chimugodi was charged boom.
Yeah, yeah. So maybe what we should appeal to the government is to continue maintaining
The
our roads,
roads. Mm,
because if roads are good, the cost of doing business goes down.
sure.
Yeah. If
Mm,
the road network is not good, um, in other countries like South Africa, I don't know about Botswana, maybe Zimbabwe also. I think
mm,
I don't know about Zimbabwe also for now, but I think South Africa, the maintaining of the road is almost every time. You see that the companies that are responsible for maintaining the roads are constantly going back on the roads and
mm,
making sure that
mm,
the roads have no potholes, the cars can drive without having to lose tires and having to lose parts of the vehicle because of potholes. So we appeal to the government to look at the state of our roads, because bad roads, they they add to the cost of doing business.
sure, they
The
do.
doing of business in the country becomes very high because of the bad roads.
Sure, sure.
Yeah, we've spoken about why the roads are in a bad state. We've spoken about the consequences of our poor roads. Now, Mr. Matanje, what can be the solution to the problem of poor roads in our beloved country?
Yeah, what can be done? Jail the corrupt guys who are failing the systems at home.
Can
Yeah,
you
wawafake komu,
say more about
wawafake ko, eh?
can you say more about jailing those guys who are failing?
Yeah, of course, it's on a lighter note.
Yeah, but
Yeah,
it's
it's
one
on a
of
lighter note.
the good point, I
Yeah,
think. Corruption is one of
yeah,
the
yeah,
reasons why
sure. If they are corrupt and are not
Africa is in a bad
delivering on their mandate, yeah, okay. Wawa bike kofi, just for some few days, huh? So they can have some kind of recollection. They can come back to their senses. Yeah, it's on a lighter note.
yeah, yeah. No,
It's on a
I
lighter note.
don't think it is even a lighter note, Vamatanje. It's a serious problem,
Mm,
because corruption has been tolerated for a long time. Where is the money, for instance, coming from the toll gates? Is there a proper accountability on the money that is coming from the toll gates?
yeah,
If there is proper management of the funds coming from the toll gates, I'm sure our roads would be maintained.
sure.
I tell you, when you are going to Kasama, I think there's by the time I passed there, there was about two or three toll gates on that road, especially the one that is just before Mpika.
Mm,
You pay the toll gate, the fee at the toll gate, and immediately you go into a road full of potholes.
mm,
What does that mean? It
sure,
means that there is something happening to that money which beloved Zambians are constantly giving on the toll gate.
sure, sure,
What
sure. It has so many questions than answers. Yeah, as you put it. So, what is the role of Ayoma target? Yeah, if the money, its value, you can't see it. Yeah, we can make assumptions in whichever way. Okay,
yeah,
someone is not being responsible. Yeah, so it's very common experience as you also share there. Yeah, I was in the similar state like Yamene Road, Diana, Nakonde. At some point, those things were not there. You only find them somewhere towards after Kabwe as you come to Lusaka. Yeah, at least I was okay to pay the toll gate. You can see a bit of some value of it. But road Yakuna Konde, you pay up our lipa. Immediately you leave the toll gate, ulima potholes. Now, where is that money being used?
yeah,
Hmm?
shame.
Yeah.
It's a pity that maybe the government must look at a way of looking after all that money that is being received from the motorists. Maybe to suggest, just like they have done with the Commercial Crimes Court, they must also find maybe a bank that would be responsible for all the money that comes from the toll gates. So that money can be reserved only for the constructions, for the construction of roads and maintenance
And
of
maintenance, yes.
roads. Yeah, because there is no way that I know that the construction of roads and maintenance of roads require a lot of money, but at the same time, there is a lot of money that is coming from people traveling. Just imagine people are traveling back and forth every day. So there must be billions of money collected every year. So there should be enough money to maintain our roads.
Mhm.
Where
Absolutely,
is
absolutely.
where is
Where
the
does the
money?
money go? That's the question.
Yeah,
Yeah, where does the money go?
yeah,
So that's a good question actually about the targets.
yeah,
Do even Zambians even understand their role? Were they even explained? Okay, so
yeah.
were there even
Even
some kind of civic participation? So, but anyway, I mean, it's an issue, definitely. I'm a target, yeah. And where is that money going? Where is it being used? Those are just genuine observations and questions that somebody, okay, responsible, if they are listening to the cries of Zambians, it should be addressed. Otherwise, there's
yeah.
no need of paying mama toll gates. Then immediately you enter into more potholes or fallows on the road.
Umdalama baleli yafye imisebo
Exactly.
shile moneka fye isha filindi. Imisebo
Yeah,
shile
so I
moneka
wanted
fye
also just to add this apart from, as maybe some solutions. So at some point, I mentioned something to do with, creating alternatives. So
Yeah,
maybe our government can diversify, options when it comes to facilities that allow movement of either goods, commodities, vehicles, people. So looking at the rail line, okay, looking at the rail line. So that is something our government can try and put some effort into. Yeah, so that commodities or goods or merchandise can also be transported on the rail. Okay. Now, our state just like maybe roads, as much as roads are a bit better off as compared to our rail or sector, I think that one is even a more serious situation. Huh? Yeah, I can only speak, let's say, from the southern part, the state of the rail line. Even just to see train yamene or ni yachigusu or ni passenger kuionako chabe train, it is something you can wait and wait and wait, you will never see ikapitako. It's actually a spectacular. So meaning they need to improve that sector also, bring more let's say resources to transport goods, okay, improve the rail line itself so that commodities, including people, can also be transported. Now, that can reduce, let's say, the pressure that is put on the roads. Now, apart from the rail line, also, kind of, what is it now? What's the right way? Okay, improving them. So they can look also into the area of bypasses. Yeah. So instead of just having one great east road, one great north road, I don't know if the one on the southern part, we call it also Great Southern Road. I don't know. So they can create some bypasses, okay, to give motorists, even truck drivers, more options than just to use same roads. Huh? So that is something again I would say of consideration. The other thing, of course, is maybe to kind of do some civic education. So let me just put some heat on the citizens themselves, huh? Like just enforcing the the rule of law, yeah, on how we also behave on our roads, okay. Observing simple road signs like speed limit, because also speed, wears the road.
Yes.
Yeah, speed also. I mean, I'm one of them, and so because I have to catch my destination. But anyway, if we can just have that discipline, part of maybe like as I said, some kind of civic education where enforcing speed limits. Either they put cameras like in South Africa. The speed, as I've said, also wears the road quite fast. Yeah, so maybe that is just on the level now of, let's say, these motorists with small vehicles, my trucks, their own way in terms of what they carry, they can't move fast. But utumamotoka tungono tu, the speed itself, yeah, it could be just something of consideration, where we enforce the speed limits.
Yes, yeah, you are very right. I think as citizens also, we must be very careful now. We use our roads, and sometimes people they even burn tires on roads, although it's not very common in the rural areas, but it does happen sometimes, especially in the city, where sometimes people burn tires on the roads. But I think one of the solutions also, as you have said, that has come out very clearly is the railway line. You have said that it is almost spectacular to see a goods train in Zambia or even a passenger train. We don't see many trains these days from either Livingstone going onto the Copper Belt. What has happened? If the railway line is not very active, it's not working, it means that there is low economic activity in the country. And this is what it means for us. It means that there is less development. We need to see more trains, especially goods trains on our railway system, so that we can take some of the burden that the roads are carrying onto the railway line. As long as the trains are not busy, it means that the roads are busy and the wear and tear of the roads is very high. So we need to appeal to our government again. Our trains, the government need to buy more goods train. They need to maintain our railways so that we can have more trains on the railway line, and we can have more goods using trains instead of roads. And I think trains, they carry more goods than the roads. I've seen that our president has been to Tanzania, to East Africa, has been having meetings with the Chinese. I hope that they will put more trains on Tazara. You find that even Tazara itself, the number of trains that are using that railway line have reduced drastically. Yeah, it must be you if you want to go to Tanzania by train, Mr. Matanje, you must just go to Kapiri and get on a train and start off every day. Now these days, if you go to Kapiri, if you miss the train, let's say on Monday, the next train you are supposed to use it's maybe Thursday or Friday.
That is the
That
Tazara.
Yes, Tazara.
Okay.
Yeah, there are no trains every day that are departing from Kapiri as it used to be at the time of Bakaunda. So we need more trains, both for goods and also passenger trains, so
Yeah,
that
actually, it's just if you mention that, the rail sector carries more goods. So there's a saying, "Kumbati njanji," ni njanji. So even to a human person, if you refer to someone in njanji, so somebody is very strong. So the rail sector can actually do something better, to
yeah,
reduce that pressure that is on the roads, where heavy loads, can be moved on the rail line. Huh?
yeah,
So that would be something of nice actually by the government to look into. Now, I was also just thinking maybe to take you back,
yeah,
Pankania, Chani, Yama, Target. So
yes,
recently on social media, there's a bit of there's not a bit, there's basically some discussions
yeah,
about kunyumba,
mm,
looking at the targets like they should be given to the private sector.
yes.
Now, I just don't know what could be your view on that. Could that be a good idea to remove them from government or state controlled to private hands?
Um, well, what I think there are some things that belong to the government that must be run by the state, and there are things that must be run by the private sector. Yes,
Mm.
I've heard that, especially on the construction of roads. I think there we can't leave the construction of roads only to the government. I think we are at a stage whereby the state and the private sector must come together to construct roads in Zambia. You have spoken about bypasses, you have spoken about roads. Um, what we see currently is that we cannot leave everything to the
The
government.
government.
There is
Okay.
need for that partnership, the private sector and the government to come together to construct roads. Even when it comes to maintenance, I think the two can come together. When we speak about uh, the private sector controlling the toll gates. I'm
Mm,
not so sure whether that is the best way. We think that the private sector is less corrupt, but I'm not sure whether that assumption is completely true, because what
mm,
I think is that if the private sector takes on the targets, it
mm,
will also mean that the fees, the target fees, are going to go up. Because for the private sectors to be able to run the targets and collect a lot of money, they are
mm,
going to need a lot of expertise, and they might be charging us a lot of money to use the toll gates. It is the same fear that is there for ZESCO. We have been saying for many years that if the government privatizes
mm.
ZESCO, the tariffs, or what we are paying for what we are paying currently to use ZESCO electricity, is going to go up. So we want, as much as the government can privatize some of the things, but there are those things that should remain in the hands of
The
the
state.
government or the state. Like roads, I think roads must solely be controlled by the state.
Okay.
Even if the private sector can come in to help the government. But I believe as Zambia now and the poverty in the country, we should allow the government to control the roads. They must just improve the collection of money at the toll gates and look after that money and plow it back into the maintenance and also construction of new roads. So I strongly believe that the toll gates must be left to the government.
Yeah,
Yeah, well,
it's a fair point. It's indeed a fair point. Sure, there's a tendency of the private sector sometimes taking advantage of people or citizens, or in the name of of making profits. Yeah, that danger, sure, it's real. Huh? Yeah,
yes,
that danger is real in terms of taking advantage of their services and overcharging. Okay.
yeah,
Uh, Now, I would also just want maybe to look it from this point of accountability, which the experience in the
yes,
past, has shown us that, just like to an extent of failing to fill in a pothole, yeah,
yes,
by the state. Sometimes it just takes simple sand. Watengako of my caterpillar, they just go and pour sand. But they are failing to do those simple things. So a pothole can be there for months and months and months, until in some quarters you find villagers, people are nearby, filling those potholes. Then they collect something from motorists.
yes,
Now,
yes,
that is something, of course, which I would just say it's failure, okay, on the part of the government. Now, if they can't maintain the roads, I would suggest, and it would probably be okay, to transfer operations, maybe to private sector like the toll gates, okay, for matters of accountability, so that those people, can be monitored by the
yes,
state, because the state has so far failed to monitor itself. And that's why we are in this situation talking about the state of roads. And for sure, which is true, there's so much in a bad state. Now, maybe something different, yeah, just to try, yeah, some new things. It's also something worth to do.
yeah. No, no, you are very right. In fact, I've been a victim of those boys who are filling the potholes, and they don't let you pass until you until
Yeah,
you give them something. And it was
yeah,
very common in the last government,
yeah.
where you are driving on the road, then you find a group of young men who are filling the potholes. They make sure that they go to that area which is very bad. So they fill the potholes with just mere soil, or even uh, they crush the blocks or concrete, they crush it, they level the place, and then every person who passes through that point or place, they ask for something from those motorists. And um, well, people give them something. Sometimes they don't, and those who don't get into trouble. So
Mhm.
you see how people can take advantage of poor state of roads. We spoke about these slow moving trucks,
Mhm.
whereby um, um, thieves are climbing on top to collect their merchandise and even threaten their life. And here also people were trying to take advantage of the poor state of roads
Mhm.
and to siphon money out of the motorists. Anyway,
Yeah,
Mr. Matanje, I think we can go on and on
yeah,
about
sure.
the poor state of roads, but maybe your last thought about this, what should be the responsibility of us, the citizens, the citizenry, regarding the issue of poor state of roads in our country.
My parting shots would just to ask and plead nabantu batu kunyumba, let's rise up, wake up, okay, hold our governments to account, let them deliver on their promises. So let's rise up, okay, and do our part because we pay tax to the government. So our taxes should reap the value we pay for it. So let's hold the government to account. Those will be my parting shots, and basically to plead to my fellows Zambians, okay, that we hold the government to account because it's our right and our civic duty. Yeah, it's your right because you pay tax.
Yeah, yeah. No, I do agree with you 100%. And the fact that we are losing very important people on the road, we are using young and youthful people who could contribute to the development of the nation. They are dying on our poor roads. I hope that we could push the government more and more so that they can take this issue of poor state of roads in Zambia urgently as an urgent issue. They mustn't be waiting. For how long is that Lusaka Ndora road going to be in that state? For how long is that road from Serenje to Nakonde, Serenje to Kasama and Impika, and the road from Mongu, even Mongu Kahoma, that the road passing through the game park there. I don't know whether they have constructed it, but it was in a very poor state. The road that passes through the game park there, I think it's the Kafue National Park. It's also in a very poor state. There are bad roads in Mongo. There are bad roads in southern province. There are bad. Sometimes I think all our politicians must not fly. They must use roads. Mm. Even
Mavele
our
vetimvila, eh?
even our president,
Yeah,
our H.
yeah,
Twamilomba,
yeah,
our president, our
yeah.
good president, try to use these roads. Take the
But
road from
they move in
Serenge.
this big V8 Prados, which don't
Yeah,
feel anything about potholes.
yeah.
So
Check
I
the
think it was the
road.
right move for president, like discouraging them to buy my big cars. Yeah, let them use the road and feel that what we feel as
Yes,
ordinary citizens.
exactly. They must leave Lusaka and arrive in Kasama at 22 hours. Or arrive in Mongo at the same time.
Yes,
Please, Mr. President, let's allow the MPs to use the roads. Some of those MPs, they are flying, they are not feeling the what we feel when we go by the road. So please, and MPs, please, in those areas, our people, let's hold them to account. They must tell us why the roads are in that poor state. Roads can't be like that for too long.
yeah,
It is
yeah. So
causing our country not to grow economically quickly. So people, let us be talking to Lelanda so that our MPs can do their job. We don't hear these debates about roads in the parliament. We need to hear ba MP mweba kukasama mweba
by MP
kukasama
Mazabuka, my home sweet land.
Selenje, Mpika, Kukasama, Mpolokoso, Ukoku Western Province, Northwestern, konse kuli emisebo koshao naika ku southern province. You must be talking about this issue of poor state of roads in the parliament.
Thank you.
Having said that, I say thank you so much to Mr. Matanje for joining me in this talk about the poor state of roads in Zambia. Our viewers, thank you so much for following. Please go and like our page, Bonano TV on Facebook, as well as on YouTube. You are most welcome to also share with other WhatsApp groups this Facebook page. For tonight, I say thank you once again to you, Mr. Matsanje. Mone gabo tubadala.
Walumba, it was my pleasure to be on the program with you, Dr. Mtale. And ime muone
Thank
gabotu.
you. Ulona gabo
Ama
tu.
ulale salama.
Asante sana mzee. Hata wewe
Nimeshukuru pia.
ulale
Nimeshukuru,
salama.
nimeshukuru. Asante.
Bye. Bye.